RoofLink has already automated your material order and your work order, so that's a huge time saver right there. Not only does it automate those items, but it'll actually communicate to the supplier. It will communicate to the crew to go out and do the work. So that right there is a huge time saver.
Matt, you've been deeply involved into RoofLink since the early days. For those that might not know, what exactly is RoofLink and how does it fit into a roofing company's workflow?
What is RoofLink? So, it's an interesting question that you ask. RoofLink is actually a creation from the roofing industry from a guy that owned a roofing company. And he got tired of, logging into 8 or 9 different softwares to get the job done, having just extremely high overhead, having to hire a lot of people in the office to get the job done. And what he did was he started to develop RoofLink, okay? And what he would do is he would apply a little bit of his software to his pain points. And then he would experience another pain point. And he would start building and building and building. Eventually it became this thing where it built into RoofLink. It's a one-stop shop for roofers. Takes care of everything from the beginning to the end. Lead generation, lead tracking, all your weather tools, measurements, estimating, tracks all your KPIs, your production, your commissions, QuickBooks integration. It's truly just an end-to-end solution for roofers.
Love that. When we're talking about, from your perspective, what's the biggest misconception roofing companies have when they first start using RoofLink?
I think the answer to that is that change is easy. It's just not an easy thing to do. You're taking people that are so used to a certain process that may or may not be broken at the time. I mean, a lot of people have successful processes, but the problem is a lot of people don't scale and grow their process, right? They find something that works, that they're comfortable with, and they just don't want to change, not realizing that they're getting left in the past, right? They're getting, overridden by other roofers, essentially, that are using technology to their advantage. So a big misconception with RoofLink, I would say, is if you do sign up, be prepared for growth, change, scalability, lowering your overhead. Lowering your overhead is a big one. And also, a lot of people just don't understand how much time RoofLink is going to get back to you, whether that be hanging out with your family, going out in the field and selling more roofs because you're not stuck at the office handling all this stuff that you normally do day to day. RoofLink takes care of a lot of that for you. It's not just some computer program.
So when you think about companies who thrive using RoofLink, what do they all have in common?
The companies that thrive, which is a majority of them, right? They came to RoofLink because they are experiencing pain points that they can't seem to solve, right? They come to RoofLink, they go through a sales process with us, they start to see the writing on the wall of how RoofLink is going to help them, right? And that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you. We're going to gain a partnership together. And I've noticed that people that utilize all of the RoofLink tools and take onboarding and implementation seriously, and use our tested, tried and true process, they scale and they grow, and it's a very significant thing to see. It happens very quick too. So follow the process, trust the process, and come on down, sign up.
You mentioned there's pain points that roofing companies will see. What would a handful of pain points be that roofing companies are starting to indicate when they start seeing a need to implement a CRM?
Excellent question. So mainly pain points I would call them time-consuming things. So think about it this way. A storm has happened in your area. You're a roofer, right? Now you have to go log into 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 10 different CRMs just to figure out, okay, what's the actual loss state, right? What's the measurement of this house? That's another login and another login. And you're having to train your staff how to use each individual software that you're using. And those are pain points, right? And all those are just huge time-consuming pain points. And on top of that, when you are spending a lot of time doing that, mistakes happen, you don't have automation, you start losing track of numbers and your KPIs and cash flow and stuff like that, not realizing that you're probably losing a bunch of money in a bunch of different areas that you don't realize. But when you utilize RoofLink as a whole and use it correctly, you get to see where every cent goes, and it gives you a lot of your time back. And you're going to hear me say giving time back, because that's one of the biggest things that RoofLink offers.
So RoofLink allows you to catch every single dollar and nothing falls through the cracks.
That's right, exactly. And you can walk around and have your entire office right in your pocket.
I like that. So let's switch gears and talk about implementation and setup. So what's the first thing a company should do to make sure their RoofLink implementation is successful?
Honestly, it's all about leadership. And I call it a change champion, right? So if you are owning a business and you sign up with RoofLink or any CRM for that matter, you signed up to make a change, to solve some of those pain points, get some of that time back. And onboarding can be as good as you make it, right? If you're not going to lead the way, then you need to have a project manager that's going to be held accountable on your end, because we also want you to hold us accountable on our end. And, if you don't have a change champion that's going to help you through that process and hold themselves and others accountable as far as onboarding, implementation, and training, because if you're not going to adopt and actually accept the change, it's not going to work out as good as you might think, or it may just extend the process.
Okay. There's been studies that say, when employees have a positive onboarding experience, they stay at a company, 30% longer than
Correct.
they would, right? Tenure wise. And I think that translates a lot into software, right? When you're implementing and onboarding a new software, just being sold in and bought into the change that can happen, so I think there's a lot of overlap there. That's great.
Yeah, and one thing I'll tell you there is, growing and scaling is a big thing, okay? With RoofLink, it's no longer, hey, homeowner, I'll get you that estimate tomorrow morning, or as soon as I get home, I'm gonna get all these estimates out tomorrow, I promise. That leaves a lot of room for error, right? There's roofers behind roofers ready to make a deal. And RoofLink allows you to hit that door and have an estimate right then and there, or even sign a contract on an insurance deal. You can make it happen right here, right now. And the thing is you can use it so fast, your reps will start to understand that, wait a minute, I'm making more money easier and faster.
Yeah.
And that's what RoofLink's all about.
I love that. Time kills all deals, right? And so,
you
like
can't
you said,
get time back.
You can't. And so, like you said, hey, I'll get it to you within 12 or 24 hours.
Yeah.
There's someone that's going to come
With
behind
RoofLink,
you.
I'm right there with the customer. Check your email, please.
There you go.
Yeah.
RoofLink is only as strong as the process it supports, right? So what does that mean for new users?
So for new users, typically, we're going to meet with a management team or an admin team at their company. We're going to build out best practices that we have. We're also going to implement some things that their company might like. And don't get me wrong, we can implement almost any process, but we do encourage people to try our process first. We have so much training content, live training, in-person training, webinars. We have step-by-step guides. There's really no reason somebody can't learn RoofLink. It's all about, you got to get in there and try. And when it comes to new users, they just need to understand that, hey, as long as you're utilizing the process, we quite literally give you a step-by-step checklist to follow. And you'll find by following that checklist, you're going to make more money, and you're going to make more money faster.
How important is it to assign someone internally, like a RoofLink project manager?
So somebody that's going to lead the change with RoofLink in your company, why would it be important to assign somebody like that? And the answer is you wouldn't hire somebody to answer your phones and they don't answer the phones, okay? You're going to find that person that's going to help you answer the phone of RoofLink and get the job done and just take it all the way to the end. Because as long as you have what I call a change champion or a project manager there to lead the way, that's the person that we're going to communicate with. And again, it breaks down to accountability. You're going to hold us accountable. We'll hold you accountable. It's a partnership. It's not a father-son relationship, if you will, right? We're going to work together through that process. And if we don't have that open flow of communication, that can really extend onboarding.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
What kind of traits or responsibilities should that RoofLink PM have?
Excellent question. So, number one, drive, right, to help you grow your business.
Some initiative.
Okay. Some initiative. Good leadership, good communication skills, understand time frames, right? That's part of being organized and communication. Those are some good attributes there, but they also need to get down on an individual level occasionally and explain to people, hey, there's change coming, and not just say, this is our new software, get over it, you're going to do this, okay? They need to come in because RoofLink, we're going to give you that value. We're going to tell you the value that we're giving you with proven results. And if you can pass that same information on with that same energy to that rep or to that person at your company, the buy-in seems to be a little bit better, in my opinion.
It's almost allowing them to enable their team on how to adapt quickly to the changes.
Especially, with our recent generations, including my own generation, right? We like to ask why a lot, right? And I remember back in the 90s growing up, do this, why? You didn't ask, right? And we never did like that model. But now that we have that open communication and you can give somebody a reason or a long-term goal of where we're going, this is why we're making that change, can make all the difference in the world.
I think sales reps are really good at asking why, right?
Absolutely.
Especially to upper management or upper leadership, right? To push back, and if they can have those answers in their back pocket to be able to say, hey, this is why we're implementing this change. It's for A, B, and C reason, or X, Y, and Z. I think that makes the that makes the organization as a whole stronger together.
Yeah, it brings down those walls.
Yes.
You got to bring down those walls because you can't see through them, but you can bring them down so we can see through them, That's the best way.
What happens when a company doesn't assign someone to own RoofLink? I'm sure you've seen that many times, when someone, comes and gets signed on and they don't assign a champion.
So I would say that our team is pretty good. We will
Ensuring that.
constantly reach out to you. But we don't want to get on your nerves, and we don't want our notifications to fall on deaf ears. When you don't follow the implementation process, it's just like if you're baking a cake and you skip a few ingredients, you're going to get something that's runny and nasty and nobody wants, okay? So you have to be there the full step of the way. If you don't follow implementation, it's either going to take a really long time to bake that cake, or you're going to have some really bad cake until you realize it's time to make it the right way.
Yeah. Someone explained roofing sales to me as baking a cake. Follow the instructions, follow the steps step by step, and that's how roofing software is. Follow the steps step by step, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, you're only going to build like 1 or 2 pieces of IKEA furniture before you actually start watching the instructions. So,
Yeah, no, there you go.
yeah.
When we talk about optimization day in and day out, once RoofLink is up and running, what are a few habits or routines that help teams keep it optimized?
Excellent question. So I'm going to say always start from the beginning, right? Problems don't just come out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
They fester. They're small little things that build. And I would say active lead management is very important because, especially in the roofing industry, when you're taking a lot of high volume ortho calls, you're knocking doors all the time, what ends up happening is these leads and these prospects start getting mixed up, right? Oh, I've got 10,000 leads in my system. But wait a minute. Some are renters. Some have been in there for 500 days. Some of them ever come back later. Some are under contract in another company. And if you can't assign proper statuses to those leads coming through the door as they're coming in, you can wind up with a little bit of a jumbled mess. Now, with RoofLink reporting, you can pretty much solve that pretty quick. But it's kind of the garbage in, garbage out, right? Example. You got to keep good stuff coming in to get good stuff going out, right? And if you feed it garbage, you're going to get garbage. I mean, that's just how it is. You got to stay organized. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Okay. How can companies align RoofLink with their production workflow, similar to how a project manager oversees a roofing job?
So a project manager, at the end of the day, right? Every company is a little different, but in my opinion, a project manager is someone that is going to manage the production side of the job. And RoofLink automates work orders and material orders on the front end, right? That's done just through automation. And not only that, but you can communicate with your supply house and your crews to send them out to do the work. And that is all automated through RoofLink. You get to select a date and get it done. And not only that, but some companies have different policies and procedures and SOPs. So at the end of the day, we have a milestone-based production list, but that can always be swapped out and changed to fit your needs a little bit better. And a lot of times we will actually meet with production teams at roofing companies to make that dream come true.
Matt, are there any dashboards, metrics, reports that are inside RoofLink that you feel that would be very valuable for any manager?
Yeah, absolutely. We have some hard-coded widgets in the system, like waiting on signature, which is a big one.
Yeah.
You can send out all the contracts you want, but they're not worth anything without a signature, right? So we have like a widget just for that, right? And not only that, but I wouldn't say underutilized. Every report is pretty much utilized in RoofLink. I will say that custom reports are unutilized, okay? Sure, we've got 150 options or so to choose from, but you could build unlimited custom reports to show you the information that you need to do to get your job done. Dashboards are customizable per person. So each account can have their very own dashboard based on what their goals and what their needs are for the day. And on top of that, if they can't find the perfect report with the amount of information that they need, we can either train you on how to build them, or we will build them for you via request and put them on your dashboard. Any information that goes into your system can be tracked.
Yeah, and that allows roofing companies to make those data-driven decisions. I'm all about, I call it the triple D, data-driven decisions. And if roofing companies aren't able to navigate through the data and sift through that, they aren't going to be able to make those strategic pivots for the company.
Absolutely, it's a must.
How can owners make sure their team is actually using the system the right way, not just checking boxes?
So that is all done through reporting, number one.
Okay.
That's what the dashboards are for, because these dashboards are going to show you reports on items that have been completed by who, when. It's kind of like the who, why, when, what, where scenario. RoofLink is very talented at keeping track of all activities with activity logs and you can see everything real time through an actual activity log. And we have, individual job activity logs. We have company-wide activity logs that typically an administrator or a manager would see every day. So they can see things happening in real time.
Okay.
And they can definitely tell when someone's getting a little off track.
Let's switch gears a little bit, talk about culture and leadership. So how do leadership and buy-in from the top affect how successful a company is with RoofLink?
Absolutely. It's a lead by example.
Okay.
At the end of the day, if you're not excited about it as a leader, the people that you're leading are going to see that, and they're going to follow you, whether it be the wrong way or the right way. So I would definitely say the buy-in has to be important, and the buy-in should be there from day one. I mean, RoofLink is such an amazing CRM. It sells itself. It really does. I think the biggest mistake that leadership at most roofing companies probably have made, they haven't tried RoofLink yet. That's it.
Yeah. I agree with you. RoofLink's amazing. It's built by roofers for roofers, right?
Correct.
So everything in mind with the product, the direction of the product is with the roofer's best interest.
And, let me add something to that too. And at RoofLink, a lot of people that work at RoofLink actually have roofing experience, including myself. I've chased hurricane damage, tornado damage, hail damage. I've traveled across state lines. I've done roofing door to door. I've been knocking doors, project managed. I have a network engineering background, and I work at RoofLink, right? So when I get to talk to roofers every day and they tell me about their day-to-day lives, I'm like, I get it, man.
Yeah, you can empathize.
I was probably standing right behind you in the supply house at one point, so I totally get it.
What's the best way for owners and managers to communicate the why behind adopting RoofLink to their teams?
Excellent question. So RoofLink, we actually have a lot of client testimonials. And, I really encourage that because a lot of roofing companies, they're not only advertising to their clients, they're advertising to gain new talent, right?
Yeah.
New reps. And when you come to RoofLink, you'll see those client testimonials of these small companies that started using RoofLink, and now they're just operating at such a high level, 10, 20 times their normal profit. And obviously sales and roofing is money driven. So when your reps can say, oh, wow, hey, the boss is getting this new CRM and these other guys are using it and they're doing really well, just a little motivation, right there. Get in there and watch it. I mean, these are true stories from real people doing the same thing that you do. They walk the walk and they live the same life that you do.
For sure. For companies that are resistant to change, and sometimes human nature changes hard.
Yeah.
How do you help them get past that and see the value, the overall value of RoofLink?
Examples. Okay. You'll run into people that don't want change. Either they're scared of it or they're super comfortable with the way they've been doing things. But what they don't realize is if you're that kind of person or that kind of company that's just going to keep doing things because that's the way it's always been done, you're going to get left in the dust. I mean, that's just how it is. So with RoofLink, you utilize technology to get to the end goal faster. And examples. I understand that maybe you do things a certain way, but let me give you a few examples of people that have kind of steered away from that and their success stories. So at the end of the day, examples.
So once a team has the basics down, what are some advanced ways to innovate and leverage RoofLink for growth or efficiencies?
So RoofLink is tracking all of the information you put into it, right? So that's number one. One of the things that I like to use RoofLink for, especially on a door-to-door sale, for example, you may be flipping through one of your 8 to 10 apps. Within RoofLink, you can go in and show that customer storm data right there at their door. So, they know you're not just pulling that number out of a hat. You're saying, no, this is the real information. And another thing that a lot of guys and gals have used RoofLink for is they get to go back and look at all their closed jobs, and they can physically show a homeowner at the door, hey, look, I did this house down the street. I did this house on the street over here. So you can actually show off your past work to a client with before and after photos and things of that nature. And you can even show off your inspection reports and things like that. So just being able to communicate that to the homeowner and they get to see other things that have happened around them typically speeds up the process a little bit. Right?
Yeah, that proof of concept, that building extra levels of rapport and trust, and that's great.
Yeah, absolutely, because a lot of people, they may have to, I got to think about it, I got to do my research, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you can show people real-time data in their own little area that you've already done, I mean, that's a huge help.
Is there any integrations or automations that you feel are people are missing out on that could save them time and money?
I wouldn't say so much integrations because RoofLink really does have everything that you need to run a roofing company. We do integrate with several different things like Company Cam, and QuickBooks is obviously a must for most. But I will say there's a lot of parts of RoofLink that people actually underutilize. One of those being automated communication. Okay, so for every milestone or anything that you do in RoofLink can be a trigger to automate text messages and emails and things like that. But one of the things that we do a little bit different is you can start and stop communication based off milestones in your system.
Okay.
That is such a massive time saver. There are people out there that literally spend 10, 15 hours a week just sending emails. And RoofLink can do all of that for you. So for an example, if you want to send out an email to a customer that says, what do I have to do to earn your business for 21 straight days? What if they sign a contract to you on day 10?
Yeah.
Well, we say, do not send this automation if they have signed a contract.
Yeah, different triggers.
Exactly. So I would say once you get into RoofLink, you're all set up and you're making your sales and everything's going good. Never stop looking, right? Always keep looking through the system because around every corner there's a new automation or some kind of technology that you may not be aware of that RoofLink also does very well.
Speaking about automations, Matt, is there a couple of automations that come to mind that are very underutilized?
I would say another part would be not utilizing your lead sources in your lead source report. So businesses get business from all over the place. There could be a billboard, a truck wrap, a door hanger, door knocking, a Google search, and things like that. RoofLink through lead source tracking allows you to add in the lead, how they heard about you. Sure, it could be door knocking, but maybe it was a Google ad and a Facebook ad, and at the end of the month, you go look at your report and you're like, man, I'm spending all this money on advertising. I got one deal from Google or maybe 50 from Facebook. It's going to tell you, hey, so this is working or this is not working, and maybe we need to quit or figure out why it's not working. Those are a couple of the big ones right there.
Can RoofLink be customized or scaled as companies grow? And if so, how should they think about that from day one?
Well, I think day one, a majority of businesses that you run into, they want to grow and scale. I think that's obviously the number one goal.
Yeah.
You know, RoofLink is very talented when it comes to, you're never going to outgrow RoofLink, I can promise you that. We have certain things that we can do, like regionalize your business. I'll give you a prime example. Where I'm at in Texas, right? We're in Central Texas. Hurricanes don't really bother us, right? But a roofing company in the Austin, Texas area sells pretty standard roofs. But let's say they open up another branch down there on the coast in, say, Galveston, Texas, right? You're going to get certain weather events like hurricanes and things like that. There may be special documents that you have to sign. There may be certain things that you have to do to a roof, like a fortified roofing system. You know, you have to have seam tape, certain screws and nails, and things like that. So what RoofLink does, it allows you to completely duplicate your business in anywhere in the United States, as long as you have an address. And then we can regionalize your employees, your documents, your suppliers, the type of roof that you install, everything. Company documents, you name it. We can separate it. And we can also allow certain things to basically move through all regions if you want it to. But you could track it all from one place. So you're never going to outgrow RoofLink. You know, we're not going to stop you to set number of crews or anything like that. Go crazy, grow. Don't worry about that part. Let us handle that for you.
I like that. You'll never be able to outgrow RoofLink.
You're not. It's not going to happen.
So if you could give one piece of advice to every roofing company, starting with RoofLink, what would that be? You know, they just signed, and you have a little bit of parting wisdom with them. What would that be?
I would say spend the time to go through onboarding correctly. Spend the time to train, be excited about it. Don't just sit back and watch it happen. Every question that comes into your mind, ask it, right? One thing that you'll learn going through implementation with RoofLink is everybody you'll run into is going to constantly be planting seeds with you about all the different RoofLink options and automations and things that we have. Take advantage of every single piece of that and work with your onboarding team. You know, you're going to get out of this what you put into it, right? Sure, we can give you a working system, and yeah, you can use it, but we want to give you the best system.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're willing to be your best self during implementation and onboarding and training, we're going to be our best self, and it's just going to be the greatest thing that you've probably ever done.
Yeah. How do you personally define success when you see a company using RoofLink well?
Well, it's honestly just through growth. I mean, straight up. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, how many hundreds of times, like that's not even like a fake number, if you will. companies that come in and utilize RoofLink correctly, I literally watch them grow like a bird seed, just like a weed, just growing. I mean, just going nonstop. That would be, that's what I would say. Yeah, as long as you come in, that positive attitude, and you're ready to grow and scale, that's what you're going to get out of RoofLink as long as you're using it correctly.
So finally, for anyone listening who wants to, figure out the next steps, with RoofLink, what's the best way to get help or guidance on optimizing RoofLink for their business?
I would say definitely contact our sales department, number one, right there. But, when you're looking at RoofLink, don't be afraid to ask those questions. If you want to talk to somebody that's, in the training department or implementation or something like that, you can ask to talk to all of us. If that's what it takes to make sure that you're making the right decision, that's completely fine. But definitely starts with signing up with a demo and just watching everything that we have. Make sure that we meet all your requirements.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Hey, thanks for your time.